Hello world, and we are back. My name's Kyle Fischel, and this is going to be episode 24 of my poker vlog. I'm going to cover a session that happened Friday, August 30th. I ran pretty good. I had a very strong hourly and a very strong session, but I got into some interesting hands. Early on in this session, we are not too excited because we sit down at a table, and at that table is a player who has previously stacked us. So obviously I sit down and I'm sitting there, I'm just like,
you took everything from me.
but you know, this player just doesn't even care. He's just like,
I don't even know who you are.
So for the first hand that we're going to talk about, there are two limpers to me. I'm on the button and I have King Queen of clubs. Pretty premium hand for the button, you know, just normally that button range is pretty wide, but this is a pretty strong hand for that button. So we're going to make it 25, maybe thin the field, maybe get some value with a strong hand, get to play it in position, and both limpers call, both blinds fold. So 3 ways to a flop, which comes ace, ace, 10, 1 club. Not really the most ideal flop for me. You know, it's check to me, and when it comes out like this, because I would check all aces that I had in hopes that an opponent can catch up, you know, because you're pretty nutted at that point, and because I think anyone else with an ace might check here, there's really no reason to bluff at it. There's plenty of turn cards that give me some equity. You know, a jack can give me a pretty nutted hand, and any club can good backdoor outs. So I check. The turn is a queen, so that's a pretty good card for me. Obviously, make a pair. No longer playing king high. First player checks, second player bets 40. And I'm not going to fold once I actually turn a pair. I don't think that you should when you make that pair. I think I got to call one time, see what he does on the river. So I call, first player folds. River is a 7, and he pretty quickly bets $80. For some reason, when he does that, you know, the first thought through my mind is,
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
like, just no way he has an ace, because this player just looks so aggressive and so bluff happy that I just don't believe that he would limp with an ace pre-flop. I think he would just raise with any ace that he had pre-flop. He wouldn't limp call it. So pretty easy just call here, even though I'm calling with just a bluff catcher. And he shows a 10, and that's all he shows, and I take it down. So obviously that's one of the first hands that I play, and it's a very strong start to be able to just bluff catch pretty hard there for a small medium-ish size pot. You know, get your comments up, gets you a few extra chips. It's a good start. So another interesting hand that happened pretty early on in the session. This is against the same player in the king-queen hand that I consider kind of bluff happy. So he early position raises it to 20. I look down at King Jack offsuit in the big blind, and I choose to complete. Definitely gonna complete that. Pretty strong hand, especially versus someone who I consider pretty bluff happy. Well, the flop is very, very good, very fortunate for me. It is King Jack 4 rainbow, and I am completely nutted here, hoping to be against like an ace king, maybe king queen type hand. You know, but I'm just going to check it to him when I have the entire board locked up. And he bets $40. So he nearly full pots it. Very large bet. Clearly going to just call and hope he continues to fire away. Turn is a 7. Again, complete blank. Changes nothing on board. Check to him again, and he bets 80. Completely happy. My plan is to either lead out or check raise on any safe river card, which does not happen. It is an ace, and that is a terrible river card, because if I was putting him on ace king, he just, you know, binked it on me. If he for some reason had ace jack, he binked it on me, and it's just a gross card. I was planning on check raising literally anything but that. But I checked to him, he bets 200. Still not going to fold here, ever, with 2 pair. Fully under-repped against a player who I consider bluff happy. I call, and he nearly snap mucks. So maybe the ace was good for me. Maybe it let him continue on a bluffing story. and it let me get more value, but let me know how you think about this line. If I should have raised at some point, if a passive play is good, or if I should be raising that river. I'm interested to see what everyone else thinks about that. So, thank you. Alright, for the next hand of note, I'm in middle position. I have ace-jack offsuit. With 2 limpers to me, I bump it up to 35. You know, middle position. Kind of want to thin the field a little bit, dissuade other people behind me from calling. That's why I size up. Well, I get 5 callers, so not a very good result because ace-jack offsuit doesn't play too well, you know, multi-way. Rather have it heads up, is what it is. So, flop comes jack 5-4, rainbow. Blinds check. Early position player leads right out into me for 50. And he does it very kind of aggressive and deliberately. He has stacks of 50 there, just grabs one, just does it. That action to me looks super weak, super one pair, super I need to protect my hand type action. And with ace-jack on a jack-high board, I can beat every one pair out there. So I decide to raise to 150. I also decide to raise because that player with the $50 stacks, he only had about 300 total. So, you know, my plan is just get it all in on pretty much any turn card. And everyone else folds, it's back to him, and he calls. The turn is the King of Hearts. Not actually a bad card. It's actually a pretty good card because I put him on a one pair type hand like Jack 10, Jack Queen. Not really Jack King. It just, I think that hand's strong enough that you don't need to lead out. Like, I just don't see it. And even if you did, like, I'm probably going to get it in anyway. Additionally, I think you have some kind of very weak jack, like jack 10, jack 9, maybe pocket 9s, pocket 10s, just with the way the person bet. I think he announced the strength of his hand with that bet, and the king's not going to scare me off. I put him all in for another 150. He snap calls in a way that I don't feel as good as I did previously, and the river is a 10, and he shows jack 9. So that's a pretty good result. Stack a player. I think that I was pretty fortunate for him to lead out into me like that because, like I said, I think it gave away the strength of his hand. And I think if this hand goes much more standardly, maybe I bet 50, 60 on the flop. Whoever calls. Turn king, I slow down because I'm not, you know, happy about it. And then river 10, I really slow down and get much, much less. So pretty fortunate that he pushed the action and kind of helped me get some insight into what I was up against to build a bigger pot and win a bigger hand. So that was pretty fortunate for me. All right, so the next interesting hand, there are 5 limpers, and I'm in the big blind, and I have queen 9 offsuit. Obviously never going to raise, just going to check, see what happens. Well, the flop is a flop of dreams. It is King Jack 10 rainbow.
I'm the king of the world!
Yep, that is pretty good. I am completely nutted here because I don't think anyone can, should, and will limp ace queen at a 2-5 game, especially this table. I just don't ever see anyone doing that here. So I'm basically nutted, should have the best hand here every single time, and when small blind checks, I have to just check because you can make a case for leading out and building a pot, but there's absolutely nothing on that flop that I'm worried about at that point with a rainbow. I'm just hoping someone has a king, maybe a naked queen, maybe some kind of goofy, you know, jack 10 2-pair. Just hoping someone has some and leads out, builds the pot for me. It checks all the way to the button, who bets $30, which is pretty good. It's a full pot size bet. Happy because if I lead out, I can only lead out for like 20, 15. I'm probably not full potting it there, so that's awesome. I call, one other person calls, and we go 3 ways to a turn card, which is a 7 of diamonds. Now, that's where I sense danger, because now 2 diamonds are out there.
Yeah.
That sounds like old Morse code.
What does it say?
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
So I'm already planning a check raise at this point because just want to announce my hand while some kind of king X of diamonds could be in this hand that has a lot of equity now and will both call a raise and be behind. It checks to the button again who bets the same amount. He bets 30. I find that kind of odd. Don't really know what to take from that. I'm still going to raise for value with the nuts, basically. And I make it 110. The middle position player who checked, he calls, and the button who initially raised folds. So we're going to go heads up to a river card, which is an offsuit 8. So we obviously improved to a 7 card straight, which is pretty awesome. I don't really know if I can get any more money out of him because I actually put him on diamonds. If he has some kind of 2 pair, he's probably going to call. So we're just going to size kind of up, hope that he makes a incorrect call, maybe a light call. Make it 200, and he folds 10-6 of diamonds. So I correctly assessed the situation, got the value I needed to, and obviously if a diamond comes on the river, I'm not leading out, and fortunately I might be calling a bet of that size or similar. Luckily it did not come, and we take down another one that was relatively big. Alright, so a final hand of note that I think was pretty interesting. I'm on the cutoff with pocket queens, and a player who has played probably 10 hands across 6 hours raises from early position to $25. Now, like I said, he's played such a few amount of hands and he always comes in for a raise that he's so tight. I'm not even feeling that great about pocket queens. I have concerns about continuing with this hand. But regardless, in a standard sense, I am never going to just call queens. I'm never going to just fold queens. I make it 75. The player to my direct left, he calls. Now that player is the exact opposite. He has played every hand, any 2 cards for any bet size for the last hour. And he's been kind of winning with them. He's been showing like Jack 6 for 2 pair, 8-5 offsuit for 2 pair. So, not worried about that guy. Kind of worried about the pre-flop raiser. And it folds to him. He asks to see my stack and thinks for like probably a minute where I'm feeling a 4-bet coming on and feeling not so great about it. But he eventually just calls. So we're just going to look for that all undercard flop and just barrel a few times to see what happens. And of course that does not happen. The flop is ace 2-3 rainbow. Ugh.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Can never fade that over card. Well, the pre-flop raiser checks to me. I'm going to continue with my entire range here all the time. Every single time I'm going to play this as if I have ace-king, kings, queens, maybe ace-queen. Against such a tight player, I'm not 3-betting ace-queen. And this is literally the only 3-bet I've done in this session across 5 or 6 hours. So I think it should get a lot of credit. I think I can easily rep ace-king here and get some folds, maybe weak aces to get out of there. You know, queens, I'm just bluffing at this point. So I bet 75, kind of a value bet bluff. Really just trying to tell a story. I have ace-king. Any 2 cards player calls, and the pre-flop raiser folds. So, because he's on my direct left, you know, I'm not really sure what I want to see on the turn here or the river besides a queen. I'm not really sure what he has. I'm really not sure because he's shown any 2 cards. Like, he could have 4 or 5. He could have ace 7. Like, we're just going to barrel and see what happens, though. Try to tell the ace-king story. Turn is a 10 offsuit, full rainbow on board. And we bet $150. Trying to tell the value bet I have ace-king story. And he pretty quickly calls, which to me doesn't even signal strength because he's just quickly called with any 2 cards for the entire hour that he's been there. The river is a 9. And at that point, he only has about 130 left. I'm not going to shove because I think that an ace is going to call anyway. and weak aces might just check it down. So I check, and he thinks for about a minute, puts his chips in one big pile, and I'm about to crying call it off instantly if he does it. And then he just looks at me and says, "I missed." I'm like, "What do you mean you missed?" And I don't really say anything. I just kind of sit there because I feel like it's still possible that he's going to say I missed and then just shove it in there and have like ace 10, and I'm going to be like, "No, you didn't." He eventually flips his cards over. He had pocket fives, so I guess that makes sense. Actually not a bad board for pocket fives. He said that he didn't shove because everyone at the table said that they thought I had ace king, and so I guess I told a convincing story because everyone believed it, even though pocket fives was just, I guess, trying to get 6 outs on me. But we'll take it. Queens on an ace-high board worked out for us. So yeah, this session went pretty good. We bought into the game at Orange City for 800, which is the max at the 2-5, and we cash out for 2145. So we make a profit of 1345, and that is a very strong return on investment across 6 hours. It makes it over a $200 hourly, and we are quite happy about that. So as always, if you watch this part, I really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate comments. Anyone who likes a line I took in a hand, please let me know, and there will be more to come. Thank you.